Google is taking its fight for transparency and image rehabilitation further in the wake of the NSA leak. The Washington Post reports that Google is preparing to challenge a long-standing gag order over publishing the number of data requests the NSA makes to collect emails, photos, and other files people send over the internet. Now, Google has published transparency reports since 2009, but the company has long thought the current level of transparency doesn't quite go far enough. Zach, how do you think this will actually play out in court?
I mean, we'll see. The Obama administration has already sort of caved slightly on Google's request to publish this stuff, saying that if there is other law enforcement permission or justification for signing off on the release of a data request being publicized, that Google can do that. So there is that does indicate the administration feels like it has to cave a little bit, but it is. In general, the administration has just kind of played hardball on these things. It has just said, no, this stuff is important. It's national security. We cannot disclose this information. And particularly if you look at the response to the Snowden stuff, it's not obvious that knowledge of the existence of these NSA programs actually compromises national security in any actual substantive, concrete way. Obviously, it makes the American people aware of these programs, and it notifies the world at large that these programs exist. But just knowing the programs exist, it's not clear at all how that compromises their ability to actually effectively fight terrorism if, in fact, they do this. And so I think the administration has been really, really pushing back as hard as they can to keep this information private. And they've said they can only talk about things so much, and tried to indicate that these are not widespread problematic programs. They're not listening to your phone calls. They're only collecting metadata, and they're only collecting. They're even looking at the data and inspecting the metadata when there's some concrete threat somewhere in the world. So if Google publishes stuff and we find out that there are millions and millions of these searches that have been done, that would undercut the administration's claims. I think really any type of data that's disclosed will create questions that the administration will have to answer, and the administration clearly doesn't want to answer any more questions on this subject.